People talk about speed when they talk about Kylian Mbappé, and that already tells me they're missing the point. Because speed is the surface, speed is the highlight, speed is what the camera loves, but the real lesson sits underneath that, in the way he thinks, the way he positions himself, the way he decides when to move instead of how fast to move. And if you copy the sprint without copying the thinking, you're just running, not playing football. I'm not here to hype him, and I'm not here to turn you into a clone. I'm here to pull out the principles you can steal, the habits you can train, the mindset you can install. Because Mbappé isn't dangerous because he's fast. He's dangerous because he's intentional, calm, ruthless, and extremely clear about what he wants to do before the ball even arrives. So forget the highlights, forget the goals, forget the clips. This is about 5 things you must learn if you want to play with the same clarity, confidence, and control, no matter your position, no matter your level. The first thing you need to understand is that speed is useless without a decision, and Mbappé's biggest weapon isn't his legs, it's the fact that his decision is already made while everyone else is still reading the situation. When you watch him move, nothing looks rushed, nothing looks panicked, because his mind has already chosen the action and his body is just executing the plan, which means when the moment comes, there is no hesitation, no extra touch, no wasted movement, just clean intention. This is where most players fail, because they wait for the ball to arrive before they decide, and by then, the defender has already closed space, the angle is gone, the momentum is lost, and now you're reacting instead of dictating. Mbappé doesn't react, he arrives prepared, and that preparation comes from constant scanning, awareness of spacing, understanding defensive shapes, and trusting himself to commit fully to one choice instead of dancing between options. You don't need elite speed to apply this. You need discipline. You need to slow your mind down, you need to stop panicking under pressure, and you need to train yourself to decide earlier than everyone else, because early decisions create artificial speed, and artificial speed breaks defenses just as much as raw pace. Decide early, then move. The second lesson is subtle, but it's deadly, and it's about how you use your body, not to dribble, but to communicate lies to defenders. Mbappé constantly manipulates defenders without touching the ball, just by the angle of his hips, the direction of his shoulders, the way he opens or closes his stance, and defenders don't react to the ball first. They react to the body in front of them. This means he's controlling space before he enters it. Most players think beating a defender starts with the ball, but it starts with posture, with how you show yourself, with how you invite pressure, and with how you delay just long enough to make the defender commit mentally before committing physically. When your body says one thing and your movement says another, that split second of confusion is enough. And Mbappé lives in that moment, not because he's flashy, but because he's efficient. If you want to grow here, stop thinking about tricks and start thinking about angles, because football is geometry under pressure, and the player who controls angles controls outcomes. Your body is a weapon. Learn how to aim it. The third thing is discipline, and this one separates mature players from chaotic ones, because Mbappé doesn't move all the time. He moves at the right time, and that restraint is what makes his actions explosive. A lot of players confuse activity with effectiveness, so they keep running, keep checking, keep asking for the ball, thinking effort equals impact. But all they're really doing is showing their intentions too early and making themselves predictable. Mbappé waits. He stays calm, he holds positions, he allows defenders to relax just a little, and that's when he goes, not with desperation, but with purpose, turning one movement into maximum damage. This teaches you patience, and patience is uncomfortable because it feels like doing nothing, but in reality, it's about storing energy, hiding intentions, and choosing moments instead of chasing them. You don't need more runs, you need better runs, and better runs come from understanding rhythm, game flow, and emotional control, because the player who controls tempo controls the game without touching the ball. Stop moving to feel involved. Move to be effective. The fourth lesson is about ego, and this is where a lot of talented players collapse, because pressure makes them want to prove something, to do something special, to force moments that don't exist. Mbappé doesn't fight pressure, he simplifies under it. When the situation is tight, he reduces options, shortens actions, and trusts basic fundamentals, because complexity under pressure is insecurity disguised as creativity. The more intense the moment, the simpler his choices become, and that simplicity allows speed, clarity, and confidence to stay intact, even when chaos surrounds him. This is psychological strength, not technical limitation, and it comes from self-belief, repetition, and acceptance that football doesn't reward drama, it rewards efficiency. If you want consistency, you must detach your self-worth from flashy moments and attach it to correct decisions, because confidence isn't loud, confidence is calm. Simplify, execute, move on, move. The fifth and final thing is identity, and this is the deepest one, because Mbappé doesn't play to please a system, he plays from a clear understanding of who he is as a footballer. That doesn't mean he ignores structure, it means he understands his strengths so well that every action aligns with them. And when you play from identity, you stop forcing actions that don't suit you. Too many players try to play like what they think a position demands, instead of playing like themselves within that position, and that creates confusion, inconsistency, and mental fatigue. Mbappé knows his game, trusts his instincts, and builds his decisions around what he does best, which makes him decisive, not hesitant, and dangerous, not random. Your job isn't to copy his style, your job is to build your own identity with the same clarity, because football rewards players who know themselves under pressure. Know who you are, then express it fully. If you strip everything away, what Mbappé teaches you isn't about speed, goals, or hype, it's about clarity. Clarity in thought, clarity in movement, clarity in identity, because when your mind is clear, your body follows without resistance. You don't need to be faster, stronger, or more talented overnight. You need to think earlier, move cleaner, stay calmer, and trust yourself deeper. Because football at the highest level isn't chaos, it's controlled aggression. Train your mind like you train your body, respect timing more than effort, and stop chasing moments that patience would give you for free. That's how you really learn from Mbappé.